So, I sold my Steam Deck and joined Team ROG apparently with a pre-order for the Asus ROG Ally. And honestly, I'm conflicted, but there's no going back, so let me explain why I did it. From the moment I spent £200 over RRP to get a Steam Deck from eBay, not knowing that a week later they would go into general sale, not bitter about that, I fell in love with the Steam Deck. That little bundle of electronics has provided me countless hours of fun and entertainment, and I absolutely, wholeheartedly would recommend it to anyone looking for a reasonably priced handheld. So why is it now sat in a window at CEX where it will be massively overpriced and likely never touched again until someone drops it when they take a look? It's a few things, so let me explain. The main factor for me really is the screen. So I also have a Switch OLED and man, I love that thing. Yes, it's getting a bit geriatric in its later years, but those inky blacks and rich vibrant colours, I love them. But the Steam Deck screen, it's not great. I can live with 800p resolution. To be honest, I'll likely use the Ally at 720p anyway to boost performance a bit. But those colours are atrocious. Everything is washed out, dull and lifeless. There's no real vibrance or pop to it. I know it's just an IPS screen, but come on, I've seen better screens on budget phones. Now, I have used DeckyLoader to install Vibrant Deck and crank up the saturation, but that's just a patch fix really. It looked nicer, but still not nice. And let's talk about the colour black. The Steam Deck, it seems, doesn't know this colour. It only knows grey, with the corners of the screen constantly this awful grey during any kind of loading. It's just kind of unpleasant. Now, I'm not expecting the Ally to turn the tide of display technology, it's still just an IPS screen in the end, but by all accounts from early reviewers, it's better, with a much better colour range, and honestly I've had a couple of ROG laptops and I've always been impressed by the displays, so hopefully I'm not going to be disappointed there. Next up, let's talk about software, or rather the operating system. Now, I imagine if you use the deck as a totally closed platform, playing only Steam games and only those that are verified, this probably wouldn't be too much of an issue. But that isn't me. I tend to have a few games on the go at one time, and when I want to play something specific, I will try and get it working. And that leads me into stability. Does anyone else's deck just plain misbehave sometimes, like an errant toddler ignoring your call to bedtime? It's like a little bipolar machine making fun of me occasionally. For example, when I installed Battle.net so I could play Diablo 2 Resurrected, I got the right Proton GE to get it working and played Diablo. Yay, right? No, not yay. Because after 3 days, it just stopped working. I changed nothing updated, it just doesn't launch anymore. And worse than that, not only does it not launch, it also seems that the process gets stuck somewhere and I can't change any settings in the launch options without a full reboot. Or how about when you want to play a fully supported game but the launch just doesn't do anything? Just sits there with that spinning wheel for minutes but then starts working after a reboot. UI elements that randomly disappear like the frames around games in my library, so I have no idea what I've got highlighted. EULA agreements get completely stuck when starting up an install, so I have to reboot. SD cards automatically format so they run slower than a paraplegic snail, and then you just need to format them again through KDE. I could go on, but I don't want to. I don't like talking ill of the deck, but I honestly feel like I spend more time troubleshooting than actually playing games. And I think Windows might help there. At least getting the executable open. The rest, once that happens, should be down to settings or controller fiddling. I really do love the Steam Deck. I know it sounds negative honestly, but it's a love-hate relationship, like an electronic Stockholm syndrome, and I am not, I repeat, not trying to discourage anyone from buying it. Mileages vary person to person, and you may have a much better time than me, and you probably will because I'm just a nuisance. But when a product gets announced with a competitive price, more than competitive performance, and by a brand which, barring some burning motherboards, has been seen as generally reputable, I'm not going to say no. Especially when it brings me back to a safe place, a safe space with Windows. Yes, there will be jank. I'm entirely expecting some controller weirdness. The display may not be as good as I hope it is. And Windows handheld is generally not a great idea for navigating it. But I'm taking a punt, and it's my punt to take. If it backfires, well, I'll make the best of it. but I'm going to remain quietly confident that this thing is as good as I hope it is. But that's it for me on this one. If you love the deck, good. It's freaking awesome. But I can't do it anymore. It's just hurt me too many times. Hope you liked this one. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more like it.